My name is Jesse Haynes. I'm 31 years old. I'm from Reno, Nevada, and I'm a professional rock crawler.
So, explain to me what Jess the Mess is.
About 10 years ago, a friend of mine came up with that nickname, and it seems pretty fitting in a few different ways. I mean, basically on a daily basis, I'm working on something or getting dirty, and this is how I look most of the time, unless I just got out of the shower. So, I mean, that pretty much describes part of it, and I'm a super disorganized person. It's pretty funny when I show up at a rock crawling event because you look at these high dollar teams that have all kinds of nice stuff, super nice trailers. You walk inside, they got toolboxes everywhere, everything's labeled and organized, and I show up and my trailer looks like we got in an accident on the way there. The drawers flew open, things are flipped over, tools are from one end of the trailer to the other, and that's pretty much how I run things. Not on purpose, but that's just how it always ends up. So it's pretty fitting. Competition rock crawling is similar to golf in that it's from getting from point A to point B with the least amount of points, or finding the best route from the start of the course to the finish of the course, and with the least amount of effort.
So, what makes you love rock crawling?
Well, I think, like I was saying before, one of the things about rock crawling that I love is the fact that it's not just a motorsport where you get in a car, where you spent the most money, you've got the biggest, baddest engine, and you're just faster than everyone else. It's more of a sport where your driving and your strategy is going to be the most important factor in the event. That's what's going to determine who wins. It's not the guy with the best car. It's the guy who can drive and really understands what he's doing out there.
How long have you been rock crawling?
The first time I really rock crawled was in 2002, and that was for about 15 minutes. And then in 2003, I started working at an off-road park where I began rock crawling there, on a weekly basis. Constantly, I was doing it. So competitively, I started a little bit in 2004.
Now, did you attend some kind of driving school or mechanic school for this?
Well, I mean, really, when it comes to the fabrication stuff, basically I just got a job at a shop that was doing this kind of stuff, and I mean, that's the only way you're really going to learn is doing it firsthand. So luckily I was surrounded by people that really knew what they were doing. I did as much time studying stuff and looking at what other people did to figure out how to do all this. But as far as driving, I mean, that's pretty much learn on your own and watch some people and see what works. And other than that, I don't think there's any way you're going to learn it.
Do you race full time, or do you have a day job?
Unfortunately, I wish I could say I race full time. I mean, it feels like I do because, it's not uncommon for me to spend 40 hours a week working on my buggy, getting it ready, making changes, or building a new car. But I also have a day job where I'm a fabricator at a CNC plasma cutting company.
So how long is the We Rock Racing Series? How many races do you do in one season?
Well, the West Coast or the East Coast Series is 4 events, and then there's a Grand National Championship between the East and West. But the last couple of years, I've done 1 East event and 4 West events just to add another event to my schedule, and it's possible I may do that again this season. Who knows? But typically, it's 4 or 5 events in the We Rock season.
I'm waiting for this answer. Do you think of Brad, Rich, and Nicole as family?
Well, I wouldn't consider Brad and Nicole family. That's for sure. Brad and Nicole are. I consider them friends, but they are. They're also competition for me, and not necessarily on the course because we've been in different classes up until this season, but it's also competitive between sponsors and media coverage, But I am friends with them, and at times I'll talk to them, have questions for them, look to them for advice on things. But then Rich is a really good friend of mine. He's the president of We Rock. I've known him since early in 2005. I met him, and he's actually done quite a bit for me to help promote me as one of the top drivers in We Rock. And we also hang out whenever we get a chance outside of rock crawling too. And we're pretty good friends, so I may consider him family, I guess you'd say.
Now, is it difficult to compete against them sometimes, given your relationships with them?
Well, up until this year, Brad and Nicole haven't been in the same class with me, but just speaking from experience with other teams, it gets frustrating because there's times where someone that you like and you're friends with outside the sport, it's not easy at times to deal with the pressure of the situations, and you might see a missed call or something, and you want to say something, but it's a friend of yours, and it makes it pretty tough sometimes to compete against your friends.
I have my own question. Is this the first event that you'll be competing against Rich as King of the Hammers?
Yeah, definitely. Rich has hardly competed in anything, yeah. He went to a NorCal rock race this year, but I wasn't there. And last year, King of the Hammers was the first time I competed against Brad or Nicole, but I wasn't, I didn't, in a race where there's 100 people, you really don't think much about who else you're competing with at the King of the Hammers, because you're not competing against one person, you're competing against a course and a race, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. But
the elements?
Yeah. I did race against Brad. The one time I'd say I raced against him was in May at a rock race, and it was like the first rock race I've ever done with this buggy. He finished first and I finished second, and we had some really good head-to-head racing too. So,
that's a good answer. Now, if you had to do something else besides racing, what would it be?
Besides racing, I'm gonna guess that would, if that doesn't include building, then
I would say out of the fabricating world.
yeah. I think it's as dumb as it sounds for someone with a automotive engineering degree. It seems like it'd be a lot of fun to run heavy equipment, like run backhoes and bulldozers and stuff like that. I don't know.
That's fine. So, why should anybody listen to you about racing? What kind of expertise do you have?
Basically, I've got a lot of success in rock crawling, and I haven't done a ton of racing, but I've had a decent success in the racing I've done. I can't really say. I don't force my advice on hardly anyone because, I'm not going to go up to someone and be like, do you realize that I've won national championships? You should probably listen to me, But basically, if someone wants to listen to me, they can. If they don't, I'm like, sweet, dude, get after it. Do whatever you think. So, whatever.
Perfect.